It's the fabled capabilities of the cloud. And I say fabled because we don't fully understand what the capabilities are. We have a sense for what the cloud will do for the industry, but at the end of the day, that's still to be proven. But if the cloud can deliver on those particular needs or pressures, so to speak, within their industry, then there's great value in that. And I think that has a lot to do with the buzz that's being created around the industry. We're trying to define the cloud as if it were an endpoint, and I don't believe that that's the right approach. Really what the cloud is a set of capabilities that these IT infrastructures need to be able to deploy in a unique manner for their business. And really ultimately, I think the effort to define what the cloud is really impossible. It depends on what your business is as to how the cloud will impact you. A virtualized infrastructure where compute and applications are abstracted to allow flexibility and mobility, moving those applications from one data center to the next or from one server to the next, enabling a new use of elastic computing within their infrastructure through abstracting both networks, storage, and compute. The first step in that, the first logical step down that client-server path is to take data center networking and make it a ubiquitous platform. So get your infrastructure in place so that it can be virtualized. One of the biggest problems with virtualizing compute these days is there's a lack of an architectural view of how that infrastructure looks. And so what ultimately ends up happening is you'll do a P2V on a compute platform, and really the internal infrastructure won't perform because you're consolidating all of these VMs into a single CPU. The second is then virtualization, and taking virtualization not just in the server but also in storage as well as in the network, and making those components virtualized aware and abstracting then at that point the hardware and the software, the network, a network that becomes virtualized aware, that it understands that virtual machines can move from one machine to the next and can adapt storage arrays that can handle that as well. And what that really does is that brings on the next step in the path, which is agility, and having the flexibility of moving compute resources in a manner that diminishes downtime, provides some flexibility. In my view, the next step then would be a utility model to where you're able to, through a lot of the applications that are available to us now through VMware, being able to have an infrastructure that is high availability aware, a lot of the applications that come along, creating really a utility sense for what your data center can do and providing it as a utility. And the last is, once that's done, moving into more of an elastic data center. Once you've done all of those steps, you can then provide and extend that data center from one physical location to the next. We've picked our partners carefully. Every one of our partners, whether it be in storage or Cisco as well, obviously VMware, is very, very virtualized aware. We feel like virtualization is key to our entering into this space. It's the game changer, so to speak, in the technology that enables us to have the elastic computing conversation to begin with. We start with a network that understands virtualization. We start with a network that can be consolidated through fabric extensions, so that as we do consolidate servers into a single compute platform, we don't have bottlenecks in that infrastructure. So it starts there. Obviously, virtualization is key to that, and 100% virtualized is our strategy and our goal. And so we have the capabilities of doing application assessments to ensure that we can deliver 100% virtualized for our clients. Once we do that, we're at a point where utility computing and elastic computing is just right around the corner.